Gundy. Stan Van Gundy wearing a jersey with his hair hanging out. Like, how hilarious would that be?
Got the armpit hair, the 80s short shorts.
You got to love it. Oklahoma, Texas, they counted the cost. They joined the SEC. For us, we've got to count the cost and understand what it means to really follow Jesus, and then to go all in and to love him more than anything else, even our own lives.
I am the starting power forward on Team Aunt. It is AUNT. I have said Aunt my entire life.
So you're on Aunt. So I'm
absolutely
on
Team Aunt.
No
so
way. Aunt. It's my aunt. Well,
you have to play both. You have to play both ways then, because if anytime you see a little creepy crawler, you have to call it an aunt. Oh, I got an aunt bite. You got to play both ways.
Welcome to the Unpacking It live podcast. I'm Bryce Johnson. We are back after a couple weeks off. My wife and I had another baby girl. Can't wait to share all about that big news. Football is here. Preseason wrapping up. The NFL regular season around the corner. College football getting going. Fantasy football is here. Fantasy Football Fellowship. We've got our auction draft tonight. We've got our other leagues drafting next week. And so much going on here at Unpacking It and Fantasy Football Fellowship and in the Johnson household. And I am joined today by Luke Heaton. He's got a lot going on as he starts another semester in seminary. And Henry is with us as well, fresh off a cruise. So we are here for the next hour. This is a new time slot for us, 2 p.m. That's right. You've worked hard in the morning. You've had your lunch break. About 2 o'clock, you're kind of saying, all right, let me see what's going on. All right, we'll be with you for the next hour. Still get your work done. Still got to work hard, but put us in the background. And always appreciate when you interact with us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, wherever you find this show. We appreciate it. And those of you that listen later, we love our podcast listeners as well. And so this is a community of sports fans following Jesus. And so we unpack sports, faith, and life with you each Monday, starting now at 2 p.m. Next week we'll be off for Labor Day. But other than that, once the football season gets going, we'll be here on Mondays to recap each week. So fired up about it. In just a little bit, we will do what we're convinced of. We will also do Tap Drill, a bunch of NFL topics today. I watched a lot of preseason, so I'm going to tell you about that. Before we jump in, let me ask you this. Do you need to get your own health insurance? Well, go to healthmarketgenius.com. Know your options, healthmarketgenius.com. Support them as they support us. Today's Unpack This topic will be about tough conversations involving right now in the NFL, the cuts. When coaches say, hey, I need you to come into my office, and they tell a player, I need your playbook. You're done. And so we're going to talk about what that looks like in our own lives and how we can be encouraged from the Bible today. But let's say hello, good afternoon to Luke Heaton. Luke, what's up, man? How you doing?
Oh my gosh, I am so excited to be back. Oh, it feels like it's been so long. It's been 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Because we've been texting about things that are going on in the sports world, things are going on in our lives, but yet we can't come in here and talk about it the past few weeks. I've been just itching to just communicate on the stream. So very excited and super pumped to hear about the successful birth of your second daughter. Jody's doing great. You guys are embracing the chaos of daughter number 2, but very excited about that.
Oh, man. No, I appreciate it. And so we'll start there as that's the big news on my end. And so if I'm a little crazy, a little scattered today, you know why. I've gone from 1 to 2 kids, which I feel like some people actually downplayed this. And I don't think I was warned fully just how wild it is, especially the first couple of weeks. It's a major adjustment. It is a game changer. So we are learning by the minute. Just trying to get here to the studio today was quite the adventure. But I'm thankful to be here. But yeah, going back, I mean, praise God, it was a wonderful delivery. Now, I didn't actually have to push, but guess what? I delivered Michaela Jean.
Yeah, you did.
That's right.
Come on.
So this is what happened with Maddie, our first daughter. I held Jody's leg, and the rumor that ended up spreading was, wow, this dad really can handle, the moments in the delivery room. This guy's ready for the next level. And so for the last 2 years, I've been preparing. I have been mentally, getting in shape and physically in shape to be able for this number 2 daughter to be able to deliver. That's right. I pulled Michaela Jean out into the world.
Wow.
And it was special, man. It was awesome. It was so funny because moments before the doctor kind of throws it out there like, hey, is this, are you ready to have this baby? And I go, yeah. She's like, oh, do you want to pull her out? Yeah, sure. Yeah, well, why not? Let's go for it. So I went for it.
Legend.
I said, let's do it. And so they were like, all right. So it happened so fast. And basically the nurse had to come in and she's monkeying around trying to find me a gown. They're like, wasn't a gown ready? They're like, we gotta get this guy ready. We gotta get him gloves. What size gloves do you have? What do you need? What do you need? And so there I was, gloved up. I had the gown on, and poor Jody, she doesn't know what's happened. She's, wait, you're the one delivering? Yeah, I'm gonna be the one delivering. So anyway,
she's about to deliver, and she doesn't know her hero is about to step in that room, and he's gonna perform.
That's right.
Come on, he's getting the job done.
Absolutely. So. No, Jody was the hero. She was awesome. And it was a great experience. And, it was funny this time around. We actually took advantage of kind of the downtime in the hospital, which sounds kind of crazy. But after Michaela was born and she was healthy and she was, breastfeeding and good to go, we were able to relax for a couple of days and just enjoy because, sadly, with everything going on with the Rona, there weren't as many nurses. And so normally a lot of nurses are coming in and in some ways bothering you in a good way. But with the first time around, it was helpful but also bothersome. This time around, we kind of knew what we were doing to a certain extent. And so there weren't as many nurses coming in. But what ended up happening is there was just more downtime. And then visitors weren't really a person in our room. And so that allowed us anyway to hang out and enjoy that time. And there I was basically ordering room service. Now they provide, food for the mom, and the dad gets like one meal a day. So
tough.
The other two meals, but I had to kind of negotiate and kind of look at the menu and figure out, okay, what can we split here? How do we make this work?
Yeah.
So that was so
you were tired of the ice chips. The nurses would come in, a fresh batch of ice chips, and you're like, come on, what are we doing here? I need more than ice chips.
No, yeah, there was like some ice cream in the fridge and stuff, but no, Jody was kind enough to share some of her, I was gonna say hospital meals with us. It felt like a little vacation for a moment. Then we got home. Vacation was over because then Maddie was back in the picture. She's awesome. We had a wonderful time these last couple of weeks hanging out with her. But it is wild. It is wild with 2. Maddie still doesn't understand fully what gentle means. Gentle Maddie, gentle with Michaela. You can't just grab her. Nope, not going to happen. So that's been a little nerve-wracking. But anyway, praise God, it's awesome. Very just joyful, so much gratitude. And the cool thing too, I've been able to sit, hold Michaela, and watch a lot of football, even though it was preseason.
So she's already experienced the man cave.
She has been down in the man cave.
Come on.
Maddie spent some time in the man cave. It's absolutely destroyed at the moment. Again, she doesn't know what gentle means. So she's taken my App State Coach Moore bobblehead. That's been all over the man cave. That's been a little crazy, among other things. So I've got I have to be very accessible. A lot of it has to be put up out of reach. So anyway, but how are you doing, Luke? It's good to see you, man.
Yeah. Semester started. And so learning Greek Greek won, so head in very deep on that end. What's exciting coming up for me is the first non-honeymoon trip as a husband. So, get married. I go from feeling like I'm 10 years old to then to like 25 years old immediately. So I get married, huge step of maturity. And now a non-honeymoon little weekend getaway with the wife next weekend. So very excited about that. The plan is to go to Broken Bow, Oklahoma. So stay on the lake, play a little golf. The wife just got a set of golf clubs. So that's a new activity for us to do together. So very excited about that.
Ah, that's awesome, man. Very cool. Wow, that's big. That's big news. I like it.
Yeah. So besides that, summer was good. Summer's over now. Excited for football season. Can't believe it's almost here. I just can't wait. And people may hate that I say this, but I can't wait until I hear Joe Buck's voice.
Oh,
when I hear
all the people, that's what you want. That's what you want.
For some reason, because they get so many Cowboys games, the Buck and Troy Aikman duo, their voices are just synonymous with happiness come beginning of fall. Like when I hear their voices, I think, oh my gosh, football season is here. And so I can't wait and then to hear the little jingles, the Monday Night Football jingle, the Sunday Night Football jingle. Oh, they're just incredible. Some of the greatest little jingles in the world. Oh, they fire me up like crazy.
It gets us going. All right, let's actually start there. We'll start with I'm convinced. And if you're listening now, let us know what you're convinced of. Anything from the last couple of weeks heading into the football season. What are you convinced of? We want to hear from you. But you mentioned the announcers. And I was thinking about it with College Game Day. It's back. And so to me, College Game Day really kicks off, of course, college football. And all right, we're back. And the fact that Lee Corso is with us again.
Unbelievable.
Another year of Lee Corso, the legend. And I'm convinced that the old, classic, historic, legendary personalities in sports broadcasting should ride it out as long as they can. They are welcome until the very end. And once it becomes too embarrassing for them, then it's time to call it quits. And once I think it's also a little different when it comes to the play-by-play guy and then an analyst or on a pregame show where you can get him in and out. It's like, hey, here's 2 minutes, be prepared, you're good.
Yeah.
And so like Marv Albert, it was finally time for him to go. He started kind of forgetting some of the names and was getting a little confused. Still sounded great. Yes. But then we had to move on. And so, but when it comes to Lee Corso, Terry Bradshaw, Jimmy Johnson, let's keep these guys going. When I think about in the NBA, Hubie Brown, I still love listening to a game with Hubie Brown. He's still sharp. He's still got it.
Hubie Brown's longevity is actually unbelievable because he can still think the game. So I want to comment on what you're saying. I agree. Ride them out because their voices are iconic. Like Vern Lundquist.
Represent.
Yes, like Vern Lundquist. When you hear his voice, it's absolutely iconic. But to your point, they need to become role players. Let's sub them in, play their role, but then get them out before they just embarrass themselves. Yeah. Like Vern Lundquist at the Masters this past year. I mean, we're teetering the borderline here because they would bring him in.
But he's retired. He just comes he only does the Masters, I think.
Yeah, because they would bring him in for just an electric 5-second call. And it'd be, oh my goodness. And then they'd pull him out and you wouldn't hear him for 30 minutes. So okay, I see that. I love the voice, but we got to prevent embarrassment because they're getting up there. They're really getting up there.
Yeah. So a couple of, Dick Stockton, I think he's done. He was kind of pushing it toward the end. And then even going outside of sports, Dick Clark, when he was doing the countdown, that started to get tough toward the end.
Yeah.
But it was nice to have, he was a part of New Year's Eve. It was hard to not have New Year's Eve without Dick Clark. So that was an interesting one toward the end, though. And then Dick Vitale. I still love him on games. So I'm still in on Dick Vitale. Yeah. And then I still miss John Madden. I feel like we got to find spots for John Madden. We need to give him a little minute here or there. It's not the football season without John Madden. So the fact that he's still alive, I'd like to hear from him every once in a while.
I missed out on John Madden. My only experience with him is just playing Madden and hearing his voiceovers in the football games. But I don't remember growing up, and I don't remember listening to him on broadcast. I probably would have been too young, but
great. He was always awesome. But
yeah.
So anyway, that's what I'm convinced of. Luke, why don't you jump in? What are you convinced of today?
So I'm going to take it the golf route. Yesterday was watching the BMW Championship in the FedEx Cup playoffs, and Bryson DeChambeau and Patrick Cantlay had like a 6-hole playoff. It was unbelievable. Their final score in regulation was 27 under par, which is just crazy. So, but I'm convinced that Patrick Cantlay's putting performance is the best that I've ever seen live.
No, I heard that. I was watching the highlights, and I was like,
wait,
what?
So he set a record. He set a record for strokes gained putting, plus 14.6 in regulation. It's the single highest since the PGA Tour started tracking the stat in 2004. So he was gaining 14.6 strokes on on the field with his putting. But his clutch putting, down the stretch, he had a huge bogey save in the last like 3 holes, a huge bogey save, a huge par save, and a huge birdie, all from like 6 to 15 feet. Like these weren't gimmies. He's pouring these putts in. And then on the playoff holes, DeChambeau had multiple chances to win, but Cantlay kept sinking clutch putt after clutch putt, and then finally drained what looked like a 20 to 24 footer on the last hole, and then Bryson just couldn't keep up. Cantlay's putting was unbelievable. So I'm convinced it's the best I've ever seen live watching a tournament. It was crazy.
It was I was at the pool hanging out, and I came back to the text message, and oh man, are you watching this? And so I turned it on, and just to me the storyline is, Bryson DeChambeau just can't. He struggles to finish a lot of times. And you can see it on his face. Oh. He gets so distraught, and he just can't keep his composure well enough down the stretch. And so it's just hard to believe that he's ever going to be like a big time winner.
And he can
win.
Yeah.
But to be a big time winner, I'm not sure that he's got what it takes to do it.
Well, and he's kind of in a hole right now. He's borderline getting bullied by fans outside the ropes out there, calling him Brooks, like cheering against him. He hit it in the water. People were cheering that he hit it in the water, and then he like snapped at a fan. But like, poor guy, like he's so good. Most people aren't able to appreciate his talent because the focus is on the antics, and that's just unfortunate. But yeah, like he's down the stretch. People are rooting against him. People are antagonizing him, which is so interesting.
We've never really seen that.
I know. Yeah, we've never seen that. Like, people in golf, usually you just clap for great shots historically. But outside of like the Ryder Cup, your American fans are cheering against European players. But in just a PGA Tour event, historically, I don't remember we seeing actively cheering against someone and making fun of them outside the ropes, because you can't hide it as a player. You hear everything. You're right there next to the fans. So it's a very weird dynamic.
It's wild, man. It really is. And then of course him and Brooks are going to try to get along. So we'll see how that turns out for the Ryder Cup. But all right, let's jump into unpack this. And as long as we're still, I guess we've had some technical issues, but hopefully we're rolling today. We're back. We're rusty. My internet, it's always something. But all right, let's jump in though to unpack this, where we take a sports topic related to the Bible, related to our own lives. And on Tuesday by 4 p.m. Eastern, teams in the NFL have to go from about 80 players down to the 53-man roster that they will head into the season with. And of course, from there, they can make more changes and all that. But this is the big, you go from training camp preseason down to the active, kind of week 1 roster. And this is such a fascinating process to me, and all the dynamics that go into it. And Hard Knocks has revealed, some of this to us as fans over the years in regards to the tough the tough conversations that have to take place between a coach, GM, whoever ends up doing it, and the players to say, you didn't make it. You've been cut. And as someone who was cut from his middle school football team, I've had the conversation. It was brutal. I still remember it. You walk in, and coach goes, "Yeah, you're out." Okay, thanks. And so then you cry in the parking lot.
Not much explanation there.
Yeah, I can't remember what he said. I just remember, yeah, you didn't make it. You're out. And so this is what these players are having to deal with, and I feel for the coaches in one regard, because especially when it comes to veteran players that have been there for a number of years, and you get toward the end, kind of like what we were talking about with announcers, where you say, hey, sorry, you just don't have it anymore. And you have to tell a guy that you really liked, that's been a part of the franchise, that, hey, man, we can't afford you anymore. You're not living up to your contract. We don't need you. We're going a different direction. We like the younger players. We drafted your replacement, and we're moving on. And I just think about how, difficult that is to, let somebody down, and how difficult it is even for the coach or the GM to know that this is the right answer. Oh yeah, this is the guy that we need to let go. And there, even up to the last moment, there could be some second guessing, wondering, okay, wait, is this, do we really want to let this guy go? What if another team snags him? And so these difficult conversations happen in the NFL, and they're happening right now for the next 24 hours or so. And so in our own lives, we also have tough conversations, sometimes at work, sometimes at home, and with friends. They're just difficult conversations. Sometimes it's letting someone know about really sad news, the difficult conversation about sickness or death or something like that, where you have to hey, this is the reality. Other times it's, if you're in a position of authority, letting someone go. And so you can relate to it in that regard. But there are three things when it comes to a spiritual standpoint. And when we look to the Bible, conversations that I think are very important for us to have, and in many ways commanded for us to have. And the first one is our need to confess to one another, to confess the sin in our own lives to one another, and to come clean to people, and to let people know, this is what I've done, this is what I'm doing, this is what I'm struggling with, and letting someone know that. And especially if you've hurt someone and you've wronged someone, having the tough conversation and admitting that, and get and working through that. The other conversation is when someone else is in sin and they are a believer, and they've said, hey, I want to follow Jesus, yet you see something in their life that doesn't line up. And it's a tough conversation to come alongside them in truth and love and grace, and to say, hey, listen, I see it. I know what's going on. And so you have that tough conversation. And then the third thing is the tough conversation to tell people about Jesus, which shouldn't be a tough conversation, but unfortunately we've made it that way because we get worried and insecure and all that sort of thing. And we don't always have that tough conversation to tell somebody, hey, listen, you're looking for Jesus. I've found him. I know him. I've experienced his grace and his love, and I want you to experience that grace and love as well. And so those are, three kind of conversations that we can maybe relate to today that are tough, and looking at it, compared to what a coach and player has during this season, right before the season. And so, Luke, I'll pause there. I'll read some scripture, but why don't you jump in on just your initial thoughts?
Yeah. When it comes to cutting players, it's a really hard conversation. So recently, listening to the radio, was listening to an interview with a former GM in the NFL, or he was in the front office. And this guy was saying, yeah, cutting players is really hard, but we always owed these players honesty. Like, we didn't want to get caught up in, oh man, we just have to go a different direction. Or, man, I wish we could just have 52 guys just like you, and just confuse them like, okay, well then why don't you want me? Or just like to praise them, but then don't tell them reasons why we're moving in a different direction. They would be honest with them. Hey, this wasn't good enough. We need to go this way. He said when his front offices really valued that honesty. And in these 3 different conversations you're mentioning about confession, evangelism, it takes honesty. We don't want to just kind of be vague to preserve our own feeling of comfort. But there's some hard conversations that matter because truth matters. And finding the middle ground of truth and grace takes God empowering us to do that and asking God to help us to do that. But yeah, being honest with people really matters. But it is uncomfortable, and it takes a commitment to be honest with someone.
Absolutely. No, it's a wonderful perspective on that. Let me read James 5:16, where it says, "Therefore, confess your sins to one another and pray for one another that you may be healed. The prayer of a righteous person has great power as it is working." And so that's the tough thing, the conversation of confessing sins to one another. And then in Galatians 6:1, it says, "Brothers, if anyone is caught in any transgression, you who are spiritual should restore him in a spirit of gentleness. Keep watch on yourself, lest you too be tempted." And so we always want to come at it with humility, with grace and honesty, but acknowledging the truth. And back to what you're saying, the honesty. Here's the reality of what's going on. You're caught up in this transgression, and I, out of love, I want to come alongside you and help you and point it out and point you toward Jesus and point you back on the right path. But we have to have that tough conversation. We have to be willing to do that. And then I think the other part of it too is oftentimes the biggest, obstacle or hurdle for us to actually have some of these conversations, the difficult conversations in life. We don't know what we're going to say. We don't know. We go over in our head. We're like, what if I say this and they respond this way? And I think the importance for us today is we got to pray. We got to ask the Lord to show us when to approach someone, what to say, how to say it, how to approach, and through His Spirit, we are able to do that. He will empower and enable us to say the right thing at the right time, but we have to submit to Him. We can't do it on our own strength. We can't do it out of pride. We can't do it out of, I don't know, being hasteful or what's the word? Not hasty.
Hasty.
Hasty. Or like, fly off the handle and, look what you did, or, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But we want to do it, with the right tact as well. And then in Matthew 10, this verse is more about dealing with persecution, but I think it still kind of speaks to what we can be encouraged by with this, where it says, when they deliver you over, do not be anxious how you are to speak or what you are to say, for what you are to say will be given to you in that hour. For it is not you who speak, but the Spirit of your Father speaking through you. And so that ability, we have that's available to us.
Yeah.
For the Spirit to speak through us. And so we got to get out of the way and allow Him to move in us in those tough conversations in life, in those tough situations when we don't know what to say, we don't know how to approach it. He will show us if we ask and submit.
Yeah, and it takes a lot of self-awareness. So before we do this, we got to think, okay, where do I fall short? Where do I need growth? It's like for me, I'm not naturally comfortable in calling someone out. It's far easier for me to kind of sit back and, I don't know what they'll think. I don't know if I want to upset them. So I kind of sit back. Easier for me to do that. So self-awareness, okay, God, would you empower me to speak the truth gently in honesty, because it matters, because I'd want someone to do it to me. When I have confessed sin to people and people remind me of what is truthful, or people notice something and say, hey, I think this is an area where you can prove, and they speak in truth and grace, oh my gosh, I appreciate it every time. So I got to be self-aware. Okay, it matters. Telling the truth, being honest with grace matters. God, would you help grow me in that area? And then evangelism, it's so easy. I think that's just one of the tactics of Satan, is to just draw us back from proclaiming the gospel, because it's the last thing. That's the last thing Satan wants, and he makes us insecure, and he thinks it makes us think we're going to be judged, and it makes us feel like we don't know, we're not good enough to say it. So we got to ask God to empower us, because it matters, and being honest matters.
With boldness and confidence. That's available to us as well. That we find our confidence and our boldness in the Lord, not in our own strength, not in our own abilities, not that we're going to, say all the right things, but that confidence and boldness comes from who's in us.
Yes.
And so that's the power that's available to us. So there you go. There's the encouragement for us today. What tough conversation have you been maybe putting off, waiting to have? Today's the day. Today's the day to have that tough conversation. And sometimes you have to have it. You have to have it. Whether it's certain relationships that are strained, tension in family dynamics, hit it head on and have the tough conversation.
Yep.
Then you can move forward. Because to your point about the player that hears the honesty from a coach, then he can go work on those things.
Yeah.
He hears, okay, man, I'm too slow. I'm not strong enough. All right, I got to hit the weight room. I got to work on my speed. Got to work on my catching ability, whatever it is. Then they go figure it out, and they're thankful that they heard the truth.
Exactly. But if they get cut and it's just a bunch of vague comments from the front office, they're just going to keep wandering in the same place. They don't know how to improve. You're setting them up for failure if you're not honest.
Yeah, and otherwise, so some of our relationships will continue the same way. They're not going to change unless we step up and by the power of the Holy Spirit allow Him to move in both of us in those relationships.
Yep.
But sometimes you gotta have that tough conversation. So there you go. You can unpack that. Let us know your thoughts. You can leave your comments if you're listening on Facebook or YouTube or Twitter, and we see those comments pop up. So appreciate those of you interacting, and always love the emails as well. Bryce@unpackingit.com. Bryce@unpackingit.com. All right, let's talk NFL. And one bonus, I'm convinced that preseason football is better than no football. I watched so much preseason football. If I was rocking Michaela at 1 a.m, I'd catch the Broncos or the Chargers or some West Coast game, the Rams, who don't play any of their players, but I got to see all their 70 guy on the roster who's about to get cut. I got to see him shine, play well. But preseason football, it just we didn't have it last year. So it lets us know, okay, here's some of the up-and-coming guys, some of the young players. And you know what team has absolutely benefited from preseason? New England. Mac Jones is legit.
Yeah.
So let's start there. And I've been thinking about this a lot. Of the rookie quarterbacks, I'm curious where you stand on this, Luke, and those of you listening. Rank them. I think there's 5. 1 to 5. How you think they're going to perform in year 1, who will be the most successful, on down to 5, and then who will be the most successful after 5 years, and then at the conclusion of their career. All right? So here's what I think year 1. I think that Mac Jones will be number 1. I think New England's going to start him sooner than later, maybe week 1. He looked, and I was so wrong on him. I was so wrong. So we'll just get that out of the way. I thought, well, I was wrong with him at 3. I was listening to, I think it was Dominique Foxworth this morning on ESPN. He felt kind of the same way I did. But the fact that he now that he's in New England, he fits in perfectly. He's got it. Cam never really fit. I was shocked when Cam went to New England to begin with. As somebody who watched him over the years in Carolina, I couldn't believe he went to New England. And so to me, Mac Jones is the fit. So he comes in. It's a pretty good team. They got a bunch of players back. I love Damian Harris, their running back. So Mac Jones will be the best rookie this year. Then Justin Fields. It seems like Justin Fields, we're going to have to wait a little bit for him. But once he gets in there, he's the real deal. And he may end up being the best. But between those two, I think that 1, 2, then I'll put Trevor Lawrence 3. I don't buy into Jacksonville. I don't think they're good. I don't buy into Urban Meyer. And so I'm not in on that. Trey Lance probably at 4, even though he's not going to be the starter this year. I think San Francisco's too good and he's too raw for him to be the starter. But I like what they did with him. They're still going to use him in different packages, and he may even play a drive here or there. So he'll contribute and I like his potential. So we'll get to that in a moment. And then Zach Wilson, the Jets, they're just not good enough. I think he's still probably too raw. He doesn't have enough weapons, even though I like Corey Davis. So I would put him 5th. And Henry mentioned Jordan Love, who was a rookie last year. Sadly, Jordan Love's not the answer. He's not going to last in Green Bay. It's just not going to work out. You can just see it. It's a gut feeling. The Packers blew it. They know they blew it, and they're going to have to move on from them. I'll pause there. There's year one. I'll give year 5 in a moment. But Luke, where do you disagree on year number 1?
So, got to talk Zach Wilson as well with the Jets. So it's interesting because we're not certain yet who's actually going to start. It doesn't seem.
You gotta guess.
That's right. So I do think Andy Dalton is going to start in Chicago, which only allows Fields. So I'm not sure Fields is going to have a bigger year 1. To me, my gut is saying that Fields is going to be limited action compared to a Mac Jones. Because New England, they know Cam is not the answer. And Mac Jones has proven that, he holds on to the ball a little long, but classic rookie stuff. They'll be able to get the ball out of his hands. But the dude can sling the rock.
Oh my goodness.
Dude can find people. He can throw a great ball. If he has some protection and you put weapons around him, good scheme, Mac Jones is your guy. Really, really good. So I agree with you on Mac Jones. It feels like Mac Jones has the least amount of pressure this season, and he's just going to be able to play pressure-free football, which is what I don't think is going to happen with Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence, his situation this year, now I'm not comparing him to Peyton Manning, but his situation, like Peyton Manning's rookie year, it seems like it's going to be along those lines of he's going to be their guy, but there's going to be some growing pains on a not very good football team. No. There could be a lot of picks. Yeah, he's going to throw some great balls. He's going to have some highlight plays. He's going to show that he has really good potential because I think he had he picked apart the Cowboys in the recent preseason game. It was a disaster for the Cowboys defense against Trevor Lawrence. But I don't think Trevor Lawrence is going to have the best stats. I really do think I think Mac Jones could really have the best season because I just don't think Justin Fields is going to play that much. I feel like they're going to give the reins to Dalton and let Fields learn.
Now, see, I think what's going to happen is because they play the Rams week 1, it's let Andy Dalton be the sacrificial lamb and go out there, and he's going to be the one that gets sacked, and it's going to be a tough week 1. And then Fields gets to come in and be the hero. So why throw him out there, struggle week 1, and then it's like, whereas, all right, Dalton, he plays 1 or 2 games. Fields comes in and says, all right, it's go time. Now, it's very interesting in Chicago because Matt Nagy, I said that funny, Nagy, they're not committed to him, whereas, Zach Wilson has a new coach. Lawrence has a new coach. Trey Lance is locked in with Shanahan. He's not going anywhere. Yeah. So those are different, and of course Belichick. So those are different scenarios than Nagy, where their decision making is a little bit skewed because they want to win right away. So if they think that Dalton is going to help them win right away, they're going to keep playing Dalton, even though Fields, you want to get him out there because you know that he's the guy. He's
definitely the guy. He's looked really good.
Better right now, but we don't know that yet because he is a rookie. It's only been preseason.
Yeah.
But you saw Dalton last year in Dallas. I thought he was going to actually thrive in Dallas. I thought that was a great spot for him, and it didn't work out. So at this point in his career, he may just not be the guy. He just doesn't have it anymore.
Well, so yes, all Cowboys fans last year, there were some Cowboys fans saying, let's move on from Dak. We have Andy Dalton, which is just blasphemy. I could not believe that was even stated out loud. But Andy Dalton also was thrown into just the most atrocious situation possible. One, he had pressure on him because he was considered one of the better backups in the entire league. You throw him out there with 0% of an offensive line. He gets absolutely annihilated. His team doesn't even protect him. It was a disaster for Andy Dalton. So I think the normal Andy Dalton is better than what we saw last season. Horrendous situation in Dallas. But yeah, it is interesting because if a coach wants to keep his job, he may sacrifice development. Because again, with the Jets, head coach has the green light to, hey, build your system.
Mm-hmm.
We know we don't necessarily expect win right away. It's the Jets. We got to build a foundation here. Chicago, 2 years ago, we were thinking Super Bowl possibly. So it is interesting. And my last comment is, I don't know what to think about Trey Lance. I really don't know anything about him after watching him in the preseason outside of, are they going to use 2 quarterback packages routinely this season? Is it going to go the college football 2 quarterback route? It really looks like that.
Seems legit. Like that seems like a legit possibility.
So I have no idea what he's like as a passer. Obviously, he's good with his legs.
He's so tall too.
But his ceiling statistic-wise this season seems very low because he's not going to be given the keys. So he's probably bottom of my list of overall stats, but it seems like he's going to have an impact.
Yeah. No, I think that he's too talented, and he was a 3rd pick, so you got to use him. And to me, San Francisco, it's kind of got to be in the Super Bowl conversation. That's the type of roster that they have. They were just in the Super Bowl 2 years ago, so that's what you expect. And so, Garoppolo's solid. He got him to a Super Bowl. He can do that again. Yeah. And then you throw in Lance, and as long as you can keep everybody happy. And I don't think he doesn't appear to be that difficult to deal with. He's not, because he's not really good enough. He doesn't really have the credibility to complain too much. Like, hey, why are you bringing in Trey Lance? Hey, Garoppolo, do you want to be released? All right, then stop. Yeah. To me, it's like you can squelch that pretty good. Yeah. Same with Andy Dalton. It's like, hey, Andy, sorry, man, you're a backup. So but
which Andy has embraced that. Which brings us to Joe Flacco. Garoppolo's not the Joe Flacco type. Now, again, Flacco's a Super Bowl winner. He has far more pedigree than Garoppolo. But yeah, we haven't heard anything from Garoppolo, have we? Complaining? I don't think we have.
When did Flacco complain? Oh, with Lamar Jackson.
Was he outspoken on his backup role, not really wanting to be a backup, and then goes to Philadelphia, and then
yeah, he's tough. Well, now they got Gardner Minshew. That was the craziest trade over the weekend. I still can't figure that out. I feel like there's got to be another move. That doesn't add up to me unless they just don't keep Joe Flacco. But Minshew is not a 3rd stringer. He's a borderline starter.
Oh, I know. I was thinking Jalen Hurts better be concerned because Gardner Minshew is arguably better than him right now.
Right now. I agree with that. So now Hurts, I like Hurts, so I'm rooting for him. But yeah, they don't seem to be bought in or all in.
It was really interesting. Yeah.
All right, real quickly, let me go. Here are the players after 5 years. So I think after 5 years, it'll be Justin Fields, Trey Lance, Trevor Lawrence, Mac Jones, Zach Wilson.
Wow.
Right? Then at the end of their career, it'll be Trey Lance, Justin Fields, Trevor Lawrence, Mac Jones. I guess it's almost the same.
Trey Lance. You think he'll have the best career?
I think Trey will have the best. Yeah.
Wow.
I think by the end of it, because he's in San Francisco. They know what they're doing there. Great coach, GM. I'm bought into the way that they run things there. And so I think him and Fields will be great. I just think by the end of the career, I think it's going to be tough for Trevor Lawrence to survive in Jacksonville. I just do. Urban's going to last maybe 2 years, maybe 2 games. I don't know. So that would be my hesitation. Even though Lawrence looks awesome, like he's great, but we've seen great quarterbacks that if they don't get the right structure in place, it's really, really hard. So, and even I think of Andrew Luck. To me, Trevor Lawrence has the Andrew Luck trajectory.
Oh, so sad. Oh, I don't even want to hear that. Oh,
and then it's crumbles. That's my fear. But I'm rooting for Lawrence. I like Lawrence.
So I love that you bring up their career projection based on situation, because Justin Fields playing in Chicago, just by virtue of being in Chicago, probably has a greater percent chance of success because he's playing for the Bears. The Bears the Bears are historically they're a historic football franchise.
Relevant.
They're not going to be bottom feeders for years and years and years and years. Poor Jacksonville. If there's any hope for Trevor Lawrence, we saw what the Browns did. Browns bring in Baker, and they surrounded him with weapons and allows Baker to succeed. Now, we think Trevor Lawrence is better than Baker, but in football, it's not a one-man show. It's not basketball. Basketball, you draft one guy, turns around the franchise. Football, You have a quarterback? Okay, well, you better protect him. Okay, well, you better have a couple receivers that can get open. Okay, well, what's your running back? What's his longevity? Is your defense remotely any good? So, yes, Trevor Lawrence statistically and talent-wise has the opportunity to be the best out of them, but success-wise as a football player it's a scary situation. And that's just the problem of being the best player in a draft. Is you're going to go to not just a bad team who's at a down year, but probably a bad franchise who typically is not good, which is scary for a guy like Trevor Lawrence. We want to see him succeed. But yeah, Trey Lance is in San Francisco. Justin Fields is in Chicago. Trevor Lawrence is in Jacksonville. Oh.
That's why I think we talked about it on the show, but to me, there should be no draft. They should be able to go where they want to go.
You can thank Jerry Jones for that. I think Jerry Jones had a huge say in the draft.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's nice as a fan, but for a player, like, the draft is fun. Plus, it's great that any of our teams could always have a shot at getting the top player, which is awesome. And so you want that parity. But as far as a player goes, yeah, you should be able to go where you want. Whoever gives you the best opportunity, and you go there, just like it is in college football. You get recruited and all that sort of thing. So
it is, yeah. Because when we talk about fairness, like when a player gets injured, injuries happen no matter who you are. But you want to see the best players succeed. Andrew Luck, prime example. That guy should have a chance to succeed. But he was just thrown through the ringer season after season. Poor guy.
I know. So that's enough. It has been 2 or 3 years. It was just the anniversary. It's been, I think back to that. It was just such a crazy reality when he said, I'm done. It was like in the middle of a preseason game, and Schefter broke the news, and all the fans were, in attendance. I think they were started booing Andrew Luck. It was just crazy. Just the
crazy. Oh.
All right, a couple other things I wanted to get to. Gosh, so much to talk about since we've been off for a couple weeks. I want to hear your boom or bust teams, NFL teams that could end up having a really great season, maybe even sneak into the playoffs, but those same teams could also find themselves at the bottom of their division. And so I will start with my Carolina Panthers, because the Carolina Panthers could be awesome this year. And the weapons on offense, if Sam Darnold, who looked pretty good at time, he didn't play a ton in preseason, but what he did in game 3, it's like, ooh, okay, let's see. Terrace Marshall's legit as a third wide receiver with DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson. Panthers could sneak into the playoffs. But if Darnold doesn't work out, and it's more like the Jets type of situation, or like last year with the Panthers, it was Christian McCaffrey getting injured. If he has injury issues again, it could be another tough season. Or if the offensive line doesn't kind of do what they need to do as well, that could be tough. The Miami Dolphins, if things click with Tua, it could be awesome. They could sneak into the playoffs. If they trade for Deshaun Watson and he actually didn't do bad things and he can play, then maybe he's better than Tua and they end up going great. Or they trade for Deshaun, it ends up being a big distraction. What do you do with Tua? It's a mess. These wide receivers that they have on their roster, a bunch of injured wide receivers that have a history of injuries. It doesn't work out really well. They got 3 running backs. Maybe they really have no running back, and the Dolphins stink. And then you've got the Bears. If they play Andy Dalton and it doesn't work out, and when do they put in Fields? That could go either way, boom or bust. The Denver Broncos, Teddy Bridgewater. He can't really win you games, but they've got a ton of talent around him. Jerry Jeudy, and Cortland Sutton, and at running back. And if Noah Fant can ever be healthy, and they've got an incredible defense, so they could be boom or bust. And I think they could boom for sure. And then the last one, well, I'll let you jump in. I don't want to take them all. So you have 1 or 2.
My mind jumps to teams where it's either a new quarterback or a quarterback that could take the next leap. So the first team I think of is the Chargers.
Yes.
What is Justin Herbert going to be like this season? Because if he takes that next leap, which a lot of people think he's going to, oh my gosh, they're going to be a force to be reckoned with. Yes, they would have to go through Kansas City, but still, Like the Chargers, as Herbert continues to progress, they continue to build their team around Herbert. They have an opportunity to be really good. And then in the NFC, I have so many question marks about the Saints.
Ooh.
Because one, with Michael Thomas, we're not sure when he's going to be back. Clearly one of the better receivers in the league when he's healthy. And then what do you make of Jameis Winston?
I know.
Because talk about a boomer bust quarterback. The dude can throw for 40 touchdowns, but also 40 picks. Maybe does Sean Payton get the best out of him? I don't know. I think the Saints have boomer bust potential.
That's a good one. I was going to say the Bengals as well. A lot of talent, but their offensive line is a big concern. And that's what's crazy about the NFL. Like as fans, we don't really know how good offensive lines are, other than you watch and you see a quarterback run for his life or a running back not see any holes. And so that a lot of times determines which teams end up going far or not. Tom Brady's awesome because he's got time back there.
Yeah.
He's always got time. So, and Mac Jones is going to have time in New England because they value the offensive line.
Yeah.
The Bengals wanted to get another wide receiver who can't catch the ball. So I don't understand. You already had two good receivers. You need a lineman. Yeah. And now you get a guy that can't catch. So we'll see. We'll see if Jamar Chase gets it together. I mean, we saw what he could do in college, but so far, not so good.
Poor Joe Burrow. I mean, yes, Jamar Chase, extremely talented coming out of college, but
him, assume.
Player. But is the value pick not an offensive lineman?
I know.
Because I mean, Burrow, his first practice, which understandably so, he's gun shy back there. I mean, bad knee injury. It's going to take a while for him to get confident standing in a pocket. And if he comes back and sees, oh my gosh, have we progressed? Have we progressed at all in the offensive line? I don't know. You got to give your quarterback confidence. So I don't know. We'll see.
All right. Well, I've got plenty of other NFL thoughts, but we'll do that right before the season starts in a couple of weeks. So we'll be off for Labor Day, and then we'll come back the following week, and that'll be the NFL week. It's interesting, this new schedule with only 3 preseason games, and then we get this 2 weeks off break before the season starts.
I know. Usually it's this weekend. This coming weekend would be game 1, right?
No,
September, around Labor Day.
No, it's usually the following week.
Okay,
but we're not going to have it's an extra weekend this year. It seems right, the 12th. Yeah, usually it's right after Labor Day, but it's not going to be the case.
Interesting.
All right, so I'm going to make a quick audible here. Let's bring on Henry, and instead of doing tap drill, I want to hear about Henry's trip, his what do you call it, on the boat, on a big
cruise.
Cruise.
What do you call it?
I've never been on a cruise, so I want to hear about your trip on the cruise,
the boat vacation,
and then I want to bring up 2 other life shenanigans and get your guys' thoughts on these as well. So we'll have a little fun to wrap up the show.
Okay.
With our buddy Henry. So Henry, how you doing?
What's up, boys? Good to be back with you. Let's go.
So I watched a little of your New York Giants. You can't be feeling great about this season. Tell me what you think.
Well, I'm gonna be perfectly honest with you. I'm not one of these New York fans that think that their New York team is going to go to the championship every single season. But what I'll say is this: Daniel Jones has no excuses this year. Assuming that everyone is healthy, they gave you Kenny Galladay, they gave you Kadarius Toney, they picked up Dante Booker, they gave you Kyle Rudolph. Saquon Barkley is coming back. You still got Sterling Shepard. You still have a defense. There should be no reason why that the New York Giants shouldn't even sniff the playoffs. They should be at least a 9-8 team. Now, their biggest problem, and this is where my heart starts to go pump a little bit, is that dang offensive line. If they don't keep Daniel Jones upright and keep him clean, you may as well forget about Daniel Jones again, because we're going to be searching for a new quarterback. So if I had any real issue, aside from, of course, injuries, it's that offensive line.
To me, the problem is Daniel Jones. I just don't think he's got it. I don't think he's got the it factor. I don't think he's the type of he doesn't have the command, the leadership to take this team where it needs to go. So that's my gut feeling on just kind of watching him. He's a Duke guy, so I'd love to see him do well, but I just don't see it happening. So sorry that's my you can hold me accountable on that. But anyway, that's what I think coming out of that NFC East. It seems like it is Washington's, at least at the moment. And Luke, I think Dallas, if they put it all together, could definitely win that division. But the Giants and Eagles, I just don't see them having it. So anyway, but Henry, let me hear about this big trip that you had. How did it turn out? I've never been on a cruise. I don't think I really want to be on a cruise. Can you convince me otherwise?
No, you have to go on a cruise. Everybody has to go on a cruise at least once. Okay. And you guys have talked about different things about different areas of life. The one conversation that I remember is at the pool. Now, when you're on a cruise, it's like a floating hotel. Okay. Yeah. A couple of do's and don'ts that I do have for you guys is you do take advantage of the buffet.
Amen.
Do take advantage of the buffet, because the way they have cruises now, and Luke could probably attest this because he's been on a cruise, it used to be where they would stack as many people as possible into this boat, where now with the coronavirus, as Bryce likes to call it, they don't have as many people on there, and the staff is literally running to serve you. Like, they don't even want you touching the food. They don't want you touching the soda machine. They're like, we got it for you. We got it. And they even serve you at the buffet. So take advantage of it now when there's not as many people there. You can sit in the pool. You can sit in the pool with your girls and have a good time. Now, as far as the pool, because we had this conversation about the pool.
Girls,
if you're in the
waters, just to be.
When you get into the pool,
I have 2 daughters and a lovely wife.
Touche.
Not at the pool with the girls. I maybe at the pool with my girls, my daughters.
You're not flexing that I'm a president of a nonprofit ministry. The messy hair, you got the vacation shirt, man, undefeated.
I do wear the vacation Hawaiian shirt. Don't you forget about that.
Yeah.
I would wear that on a cruise.
We talked about when you're at the pool, how you socialize in the pool. Mm-hmm. Now, when you're at the pool on a cruise, what you want to do is you want to listen to the conversations. And when the conversation goes into your territory, you just kind of slide right in, because you just slide right into the conversation. Slide right in there, and they people have no problem inviting people into their conversations, because after all, you're on a cruise. Time is not really a factor, because you done left the whole world behind. So you're sharing this boat, and people kind of invite you into their circle. So if you can find your spot, slide right into the conversation, and when you're done, you just kind of slide right out and say, "Hey guys, I'm gonna talk to you later. I'm gonna go hang out with the family. Maybe I'll see you around the buffet." And so that way you have an out.
So do you go underwater and then just slide out, or do you actually do an above water goodbye?
No. You do the above. No, you do the above.
You just disappear. You just start
do the
sinking down.
Because if you do the below water, then people are looking like, where did he go?
A grown man underwater is a tough scene. Going for a swim underwater as a grown man, I just don't know about that.
Why? I do it. I was at the pool yesterday. I was doing handstands.
You're brushing up against people's legs. Oh, who's that? Oh, grown man. Oh, what's he doing?
Here's another tip for you if you're going to
doing handstands.
Doing handstands in a crowded pool. Gotta be legendary. Here's another one. My tip to everybody is if you have to fly to the port, do not fly to the port the same day your cruise is leaving the dock. Here's the reason why. Because when you get to the airport, you have to go through customs, and then you have to wait for your flight, and then you fly out, and then you have to go through customs again to get onto the boat. And by the time you actually get there, you guys don't want to do anything. And that first day of the cruise is totally gone. So my suggestion would be, if you can either get a hotel before you fly or after you fly, get a hotel, rest up the night before, and then you go in, You go into the cruise, you get your papers ready, you get your documents ready. They let you on the boat. They smile at you, and you get on the boat, and then you get to walk around, and they even give you a complimentary adult beverage when you get there.
Okay, well there you go. There's our advice for cruises from Henry.
I've got to jump in here. What makes a cruise great is it can be cheaper than going to like a nice resort.
Oh yeah,
and the food is out of this world,
really,
in quality and quantity.
Huh?
Like my last cruise, a 5-day cruise, I gained 12 pounds because I ate so much, which is kind of astonishing. But they have food open late at night. Yeah, you have dinner. You go to dinner. You want an entree? Yeah, okay. Hey, I'd like another entree, please. You just ask for more and more.
There you go.
3 appetizers? Yeah. 2 entrees?
There you go.
Give it to me. A couple hours after dinner? Hey, let's go get some pizza? Yeah, it's 11:30. Let's go by the pizza place. Go see a show? Hungry again? Let's go get another slice of pizza. I mean, you eat and
Sounds
eat.
dangerous.
And eat. And then depending which cruise you go to, the excursions are fun. But I love cruises strictly for the copious amounts of eating that is able to be done.
You have to fast the week before.
And the week after.
And the weekend. Because Luke is right. There's like wall-to-wall food.
It's food everywhere.
Everywhere. Especially like with our cruise. And my 13-year-old son, by the way, had his own cruise, mind you. We were all a family. We were supposed to be in the family. My 13-year-old had his own cruise. We only saw him on the excursion and at dinner time. That's it.
What a life.
And there's clubs. I went to or classes. I went to a napkin folding class my last cruise. Oh, it was unbelievable.
That does not sound like
I
something
was the only man. I walked up. It was me and middle-aged women. I figured out how to fold a napkin in a bunch of different ways. Hey, I'm a learner at heart. Oh yeah, yeah. Come on.
And then what? Okay, you know how to fold a napkin. What are you gonna do?
So that time at dinner, I'm impressing people at the dinner table. Hey, you want me to fold your napkin for you?
Napkin folding.
People who love you.
Oh my God.
Oh man, that's unbelievable.
One other thing that you have to do, because I think every cruise has this, one other thing that you have to do, you have to play bingo. You got to play bingo.
Yeah,
I like bingo.
It's fun. The people make it fun. You got the daubers in there. There's actual excitement, especially when you have one person. You got one person. They make you stand up because you have your one number away, and we all hiss at them and we all give them like the evil eye. It's fun. It really is.
Just be careful about the adult shows.
The adult shows, yeah.
If you're bringing kids on the cruise,
yeah, make sure they don't go to any shows after 10 o'clock.
Those could be problematic. So stay away from those.
Well, I'll tell you this: it's hard for me to even leave my house for like an hour right now with 2 young babies. So I don't think I'll be going on any cruise anytime soon. But thanks for rubbing it in. No, I appreciate it. Real helpful. I'll be sitting on the couch for the next 6 years. But yeah, it's cool. It's cool. I can't leave my house. But
hey, that's a win though. More man cave time. Come on.
There you go.
No, it's awesome. It's fun. But here's just in the last couple of weeks, been home, hanging out with the family. It's been relaxing and overwhelming and challenging and fun and exciting and wild all at the same time. But I have had, slight interaction, maybe with someone at the pool or, phone call here or there. But I want to bring up something real quick as we wrap up the show. We need to come up with kind of a rule and understanding when it comes to the hollow, do you need anything? Do you really care? Do you really want to give something? Do you really want to help? I had a girl at the pool, a woman she had 3 kids, and Maddie was playing with her kids and all that. And we just had a baby, and nice, that's cool. Do you guys need anything? Yeah, I need a lot. I need a lot of help. Can I drop Maddie off at your house tonight? Yeah. Do you guys? Would you like me to make? It was like a very hollow. Do you guys need some food or anything? Well, yeah, we need food. I don't want to make dinner. Bring over food. But am I going to tell this? A loose connection at the pool that she's going to make me dinner? She already has 3 kids of her own. She's not going to do that. So why even bring it up? It's a hollow gesture, and I understand there's, it's nice, but is it? it's almost like you put me in a tough spot because, oh no, we're fine. We're not fine. Barely hanging on. I'm not fine.
I haven't gotten any sleep in like 3 nights.
Yeah, if I have leftover pasta for the 6th day in a row. Pot roast? Yeah, bring over a pot roast.
If I see another macaroni and cheese, I'm gonna hurt myself.
Yeah. We need to hold people accountable for saying these. They're heartless pleasantries. Yeah. Like we need to make pleasantries like their own. Like make them. If it's a pleasantry, make it a pleasantry. But it can't be. Hey, need anything? We need to start saying, yeah, actually, do you mind doing this? Put the ball back in their court. If they're going to ask, do you need anything? Hey, you better be careful asking that question because you're about to be helping me with something.
That's right. Or let me know if you need anything. Okay, I'm going to call you at 1 o'clock when I'm trying to rock Michaela back to sleep. That's when I need you. Yeah, I need you. She won't go back to sleep. Why won't she go back to sleep? I don't know. But I'm going to let you know because I need you then.
Gosh.
So there you go.
Oh, man.
Do you need anything? Yeah, I do. So that was a fun little thing. And then one other quick side note too. I was saying hello to a neighbor, and again, I'm coming out of the kind of hibernation just to take out the trash, and it's like, oh wow, the sunlight and real people, it's wild. And I got a hey, how you doing? And so then I responded, I'm good. How are you doing? And then I got one more. I'm good. How are you doing? So I got the double. How are you doing? And so we're in the cycle of how you doing?
No.
Yeah. I'm good. I'm still good. How are you doing? I'm good. Are you good? I'm good. I'm good. And so it's a dead end conversation. And almost you're doing mental gymnastics thinking, wait, I thought I already told him I was good. Did I not say it out loud? I thought I vocalized that I'm good. And now I'm being asked the same question again.
Oh,
so that was a challenging as well. That was a challenging situation for me.
So how did you respond to that? Did you pretend it didn't happen? Did he kind of freeze up and realize the mistake that he just made?
Yeah, I already asked you that. I'm sorry. No, he didn't do that.
It's almost as bad as if you're like checking in a flight and they say, enjoy your flight. And you toss back, you too.
Yeah, that's the Brian Regan, you too. But this is the repeat. How you doing? You got to catch yourself on that. You got to be a little bit more in the moment and listen to the response.
Were you close enough to call him out on it? Because it would be funny if you were like, dude, why did I just answered that? Or, ooh, the double, how are you doing, huh? Well, what's going on here?
No, it wasn't.
At least you didn't get the one when you said, how are you doing? And then he goes into like the 5-minute soliloquy about his life.
Ooh, tough.
My dog left me. My car didn't start. They're about to evict me on my house. At least you didn't get that guy.
He's 3 minutes in. All right, look, man, I'm just trying to take out the trash.
No, well, I wish we lived in a world where that was actually how things went, where we actually cared about people. And when we asked how they're doing, we actually did care. And we actually heard how they're doing. So I'm with you. I like Henry. That's not where we're at, unfortunately. And when you are taking out the trash, you're not in that kind of mind space to do that. So I did avoid that. But let's, we do want to care for one another. How about that? So we'll end on a happy note.
Very mature from the father of two.
Yeah. It's funny. I'm trying to raise some decent people here these days.
Yeah. You don't want your daughters to look back at these old shows and be like, oh man, what was the old man talking about?
What was that? What was Dad talking about there?
I can't change all of society, but maybe one at a time.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Fun show. Great to be back. Enjoy Labor Day. It's kind of the last day off, and then it's fall football season. Here we go. And then tonight we have the Fantasy Football Fellowship.
Let's go.
Salary cap draft. Me, Luke, Henry, Chris, our producer. We've got other members of the team, our former interns, all a part of this draft tonight. It should be fun. I can't wait to dominate you guys. Let's not forget, I've got these fantasy rings. Should I wear them tonight during the draft? I don't know. But excited to compete with both of you. So we'll have some fun tonight.
Yes, sir.
I may be drafting while holding Michaela, but we'll make do. I did a draft last night, trying to eat pizza, hold Michaela, and draft all at once. It was a wild time.
Well, maybe throw some earmuffs on Michaela because the trash talking is going to be coming in nice and hot.
Oh
Here
yeah.
we go. Here we go. Let's have some fun. All right, guys. Enjoyed it. Have a wonderful week. Thanks to everybody listening. Thanks to all the comments and people listening live. Thanks to everybody listening later on the podcast. Always love hearing from you. Bryce at unpackingit.com is the email. And we do have a couple spots left in our FFF 32 team league. So if you'd like to join and own one NFL roster as your fantasy team for the year, you can have your favorite team. There's probably like 10 teams left maybe. We'd love for you to be a part of that. So check that out, unpackingit.com/fantasy. If you haven't subscribed to Unpack This, the email devotional, Luke wrote today's devotional about when we're weak, we are strong when we rely on the Lord. So check that out and make sure you subscribe for free on unpackingit.com. Wednesday's devotional will be about today's topic, which was having those tough conversations. So what tough conversation do you need to have today? And ask God to give you that confidence, that boldness, and the words to say, and the right approach, and have the grace and the love that be the way that we come at some of those tough conversations that we know we need to have. That we feel that prompting from the Holy Spirit to have those conversations. So we gotta step out in confidence and faith to have those conversations, so that we can move forward and grow and rebuild relationships and move on from sin and help someone else move past sin in their life as well. So if you missed that, you can listen to the beginning part of this podcast or read the devotional on Wednesday. Have a great rest of your day. For Luke and Henry and Chris, I'm Bryce. I'm a sports fan who follows Jesus. I believe in the good news that he died on the cross for my sin. He was resurrected, and through faith, I've been saved by his grace. I hope that is true for you as well, and I hope you'll join me as we live life as sports fans who follow Jesus together. Little pizza there on the end. Delicious lunch. But I'm Bryce Johnson. Baby at home, barely hanging on. Do I need anything? Yeah, I do. I need you. Thanks for listening. Have a great day. We'll see you.